Well, hello, Shawn Sawyer from Cacique International in the Bahamas.
Hi, Tahira. Glad to be here in Frankfurt, Germany.
Welcome to Event Icon's IMEX live episode. It's so fun.
Thank you.
So now, Shawn, you and I met just recently, but boy, did we have fun.
We did. We did. It was a very, very, very long 3-day romance.
Right?
Yeah.
It's so true. I feel so lucky
I know, me
that
too.
we're going to be taking our Site Classic to Bahamar, and you are going to be our host DMC, and it's going to be amazeballs.
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited.
I'll tell you why I was excited, was because I could just see from the first moment that we first started talking that you have a serious attention to detail and an amazing design aesthetic. And I hadn't even seen you live or seen any of your work, but I could just tell. So tell me a little bit about your design philosophy.
Well, thank you for all of those wonderful accolades. I appreciate every one of them. So as I don't know, I think it's always been there. I've always been one for things to be in the right spot, in the right place, and things need to make sense, and there's nothing worse than things in bad scale and colors that don't work together. So, all my life I've grown up noticing these things. And as I got older and I decided to get involved in this wonderful, illustrious hospitality industry, it was just a natural fit moving into that world with these sort of building blocks that I had been sort of noticing all my life.
Were you the kid who organized their toys and visually merchandised your toy shelves?
It wasn't sort of in visual merchandising. It was more color and style.
Okay.
Like you didn't want to mix the yellow ducks with the red fire trucks. Things had to
I can understand and appreciate
things
that.
had to make sense.
I have a spice drawer that's alphabetized most of the time.
As you should.
Right?
So, as I got older and I, decided that this was my so-called calling, to take those building blocks and continue through whatever we do every day that we do it, was kind of effortless. Things have to make sense.
Yes.
One of the other basic philosophies that I like to use is, hey, let's touch all 5 senses. If we can't effortlessly touch the 5 senses, then what's the point?
It's a very good philosophy. Now, you are also a lover of art. Tell me more about your love of art and the kind of art that really you're passionate about.
So, yeah, I do love art. I'm not good at it at all, although I like to think that people in my kind of industry are considered a little bit of an artist.
You are.
But I have the utmost respect for pure artists because what they're able to do is capture, to me, moments and visuals that tend to go beyond just what they are. So it's not just paint on a canvas or stone molded. There's a story behind it that somehow, some way, though the element is dead, somehow it's just breathing life like you wouldn't believe. So I like being challenged that way visually. I like to admire other people's expertise because let's face it, to be a good artist, you need to be pretty good at it. So I like very much to surround myself and be stimulated by things that make me think and go, I think that we're all challenged every day, but we're challenged literally. I think art takes you to that other level and really does make you stop and think. As far as collecting, anything and everything that moves me. It does not have to be one thing or the other. If it makes me move enough to pull out the wallet, then here we go.
It's a good movement, especially for the artist.
Sure.
So now, how do you incorporate art into your events? And I'm sure there's a myriad of ways, so you can just touch on.
Yeah, so, in the Bahamas, we have the most amazing level of art that is yet to be discovered. And right now, the really exciting thing is to be a part of that exposition of that art and getting people to understand that the Bahamas, my home, isn't just a place for casinos, sand, and beaches, so to speak. There's a lot more depth to it. And one of those depths is obviously the artistic world. So what we try and like to do as much as humanly possible is share what's there with our clients and our guests. In doing so, we've done stuff like having an artist sort of start a painting maybe a couple of months before the actual program, and finish it off live on stage over the last 2 or 3 days of the program. And then after that, the company accepts it as a piece of art that is then taken back home and put up in their corporate headquarter offices. We actually had a client that liked the idea of, whilst that was going to be the finished original, everybody was going to go home with a print,
yeah.
Exactly, a numbered autographed print.
Wow.
So that was kind of nice. The other thing is incorporating the element of art itself into the actual event with the color. Like certain artists, as you know, Tahira, are certain, they have their lane. So it's kind of nice to design events around that lane and incorporate it. I find that whilst that is good, people always like to have the tangible thing, whatever that may be, big or small, at the end of it, because the two relate. So they go home with a memory, like, oh yeah, I remember that thing being done, or I remember interacting with that artist, but now I have a piece of them with me, which ignites that moment of that time on their program.
So now, without any giving no spoiler alerts on this,
sure.
But so this, at IMEX this year, so I've been down in our site booth, and we had some acro yoga performers. So we're talking about our Vancouver Global Conference, which is coming up in January, and we want to talk about the limitless theme that we have and the flexibility, and really show that in some really fun acro yoga ways. So we've been doing that. But when we get to IMEX in Las Vegas, we're going to do an activation, aren't we? That's going to be...
We are going to do an activation. Yes, we are.
And build on some art and show we're going to do some cool stuff.
Yeah, I think that, what I'd love to be able to say at this stage about it is it's definitely going to inspire and intrigue and sort of touch a little bit of mystery. But yeah, it's going to be very cool.
And I think it's nice for people as they come by any booth to be able to do something that's a little bit different and tangible, makes you think a little bit differently. And I think, when we look at incentive travel in particular, where it's really something that we have the opportunity to really create emotion, and to create any kind of travel should create some emotion, and whether you're experiencing that through food or performance or art. And I love that we're going to be able to start that in a booth and then translate that into actually a program. And I'm also very excited about our final night, because I know that I'm going to be surprised and delighted.
No spoiler alert, though.
No spoiler alert.
Well, that particular night, well, yes. Well, first and foremost, it's going to be an honor to create more mystery and intrigue in Vegas at your site booth there, which will also carry through to the actual site classic itself. But as far as the final night is concerned, yeah, there are experiences in the Bahamas that happens a couple of times a year that are pretty big experiences. These experiences have been going on for decades and decades and decades. It is a very, very, very big part of our culture. It's part of the air that we breathe there for the other 50 weeks of the year when these things aren't happening. And it's going to be one of those things on the final night where we're going to take you on one of those journeys when it's not supposed to happen, but we're going to recreate it. Not necessarily just taking you through that moment, but it's important for you to understand why that, where that, how that, and how can we continue that forward with you as you go back home.
Carrying a little piece with us. I
Correct.
love that. Now, you obviously, we're going to close with this, but you love the Bahamas. So tell me a few reasons that you find the Bahamas such a special place for people to come and do their programs.
Well, for starters, it's my home. So, obviously everybody is going to be very passionate about their home and why you should come there, because obviously they're very proud of it. But for me, it's a little bit more than that. It's the Bahamas exudes a sort of, I was having this discussion with somebody yesterday, a sort of magic in the air. There's a spiritual value in the Bahamas that I find exists there in a very potent way. People will say, we have magic everywhere, but I can only speak from what I know. And there is a magic there that I experience even now, having lived there all my life. So doing programs there you're going to share that magic. You're going to share the warmth and the graciousness of the Bahamian people, because obviously we're a very appreciative country. We've got a lot to offer in all aspects of an incentive or a corporate meeting. We've got largest convention centers in the Caribbean. We've got, really amazing array of hotels in the Bahamas that fits every type of client demographic and budget. We have the experiences that go along with it outside of what you're doing on a day-to-day business-wise. So, the attraction there goes even a step further, because for many years the Bahamas was known for, water activities or aquatic activities. And again, there's nothing wrong with deep sea fishing and scuba diving and snorkeling, but, like art, in the Bahamas, there's a lot of what we call sort of land-based experiences that are now coming to light. People are now realizing that around the world, when people go to destinations, they don't necessarily want to go to do just one or two things. They want to go and explore from a cultural perspective, the down, the deep, and get into the pulse of everything. And in a lot of cases, that's the food. Obviously, Anthony Bourdain, rest in peace, expose this whole other world that we're now just starting to jump into. When you go to a destination and you like, it's not only about the politics or the norm, get deep into the food aspect. So very excited about all of the food opportunities that exist in the Bahamas. There's also a lot of opportunity exploring, the artistic ateliers, the studios, going behind the scenes with the artists and seeing what they do. So, for a long period of time there, we were known for our beautiful beaches and water and, a wonderful place to go and play.
Exist.
And those definitely still exist. And we've got some of the most amazing casinos in the world. But there's another pulse in the country that I'm ecstatic to be able to start to share more of as the country starts to peel away some of these creative artistic layers that live there on a daily basis.
I love that. For me, the magic started as you're flying and you see the beautiful blue, green, turquoise, oh my goodness, water just everywhere that you go. It really truly is a beautiful place, and I'm excited to share it.
I challenge anybody, look at any map from space looking down at Earth, and the spot that you're going to see the most beautiful waters is going to be the Bahamas.
Not biased at all. I love it.
Not biased at all.
So thank you so much, Shawn, for jumping up off the floor and coming and joining us today on Event Icons. We really appreciate it. Tell us how people can find you.
It's a pleasure. You can find us at booth C280 here in Frankfurt, or you can find us at Cacique International in the Bahamas. Go to our website, www.caciqueinternational.com.
We'll have to spell that one out for people because it's a bit tricky, but yes.
A little bit.
It's okay. It's all good.
It's a little bit. But thank you for having me.
Anytime.
This has been an absolute treat. Thank you very much for this opportunity. It's been a wonderful
2
minutes.
Peace out.